BobberRooney.
BobberRooney.
BobberRooney, you are so loony. BobberRooney, you got me laughing and a rolling, smirking and a scoffing. BobberRooney, BobberRooney.
You are so dumb. Damn.
How's it going out there, guys? Welcome to the show. Got a great one lined up for you today. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. See who we got on the panel. We have the beautiful Betty Van Velsen. I know I seen her in there before I left, so hopefully she's still there. Hello, Betty.
Why wouldn't I be here?
You never know these days.
Was that my voice?
Was that your voice where?
In the second tone voice thing in the beginning.
Oh, for you weren't in BobberRooney?
Oh, how did you do that then?
Who you think it was?
Yeah, you needed the sound bite, and I know that I sang that little sort of line. What did you do?
Do you remember singing BobberRooney?
Yeah, you told me to sing that line because you needed the second tone.
I didn't record that. Can't you tell your voice from another's voice?
Well, not if somebody sequences it.
Did you say resequence it?
Sequences it.
Sequences.
Sequence.
Isn't that a game?
Unbelievable. Just continue.
So that was, yeah, I got a partner on the song because I needed that second verse for BobberRooney.
All right.
Yeah. If they haven't, I'm going to play it here in a little while because not everyone was seated in time. So we'll get to that later. And a couple of other nonsensical buffooneries you're not going to believe. Well, if you're a flat earther who's been out here for 6 months, you'll believe pretty much anything I put up on the screen or let you listen to. Uh-oh.
Oh, what?
Nathan Oakley, sir.
I'm going to say subscribe to Nathan Oakley, 1980, Nathan Oakley, respectively.
He did. He took off.
Yeah, Nathan is ace.
I just so happened to look over, right, and see him pop in because usually I'm not looking there. So he surprises me, but I seen him this time.
Yeah, you did.
He told me to tell everyone that Nathan was ace.
Yeah, well, we know NPDs, right?
Yeah, we do know them, don't
Wink,
we?
wink.
We do know them, don't we? Or when...
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
So we have the Adam Meakin back from glamping. Welcome, sir.
Hi, guys. How are you? Good to be back. Although, this is Nathan's show. Just got back. Had to miss the show. I reckon. I don't know if that was him popping in on his holiday, which is why the shows aren't there. But I think I guessed what he was doing today. But I kind of got an admission in Skype, I think. So if it is true, Nathan, you're having a great place to go, mate. And yeah, enjoy the time with the kids and the family. You deserve it, bruv.
Alrighty then.
Get back soon because we need a show.
People were chomping at the bit, right? People were asking me in Skype. I just get random messages, and then a couple stalkers and stuff. You having a show? Is there a show today? Is there QE you got to show?
I've got Arwin denying it in chat. I said, this was your idea, weren't it? No. But pretty sure he was a major instigator of that, along with Neil.
Yeah, those two were, they were. I don't think so much
Right.
Arwen. I think Neil was. I don't even see Neil in here. That's how crazy this is.
Okay, so what now?
What now? Nothing. We're just hanging out.
Oh, okay.
Waiting for Arwin and Neil.
Yeah, but I know that Adam has his wine. What do you got, Quantum Eraser?
I
What are you
do.
waiting
I do have a banana over in the corner.
for? But you're waiting for Adam to speak so that you can eat it, huh?
Yep, I'm waiting for like 45 minutes or so. Adam would get plenty pissed off and just take over, and then I'll start with the snack.
Okay, then hopefully Adam starts drinking so that that happens.
Adam
Got a
doesn't.
very nice wine tonight, guys.
Oh, I bet. Go ahead.
It was one of the ones I took on the glamping, but we didn't get through it all. But this is it's a Le Vallon 2016 Sancerre, and it is well chilled. Just to quote it, really quite nice. It was chosen by the wine merchant for my wife's birthday. I genuinely know nothing really. So, but yeah, very nice tonight. A Sancerre evening.
Yeah, I'm not that much of a wine connoisseur. I mean, I like a wine every now and again, but I'm not like you. I'm not putting you down. I'm just saying I'm just not a wine drinker.
Yeah, that can. Yeah, me neither, but I don't like alcohol at all. So
There was a fair bit of whiskey went down at the weekend as well, John. So a Dalrymple, a Lefroy. I can't remember the other one. There was a lot went down.
is
But
there still blood in your veins, Adam, or is it just like pure alcohol nowadays?
well, there is blood, but you know,
Blood. Okay, go on.
it too may be under the influence, but yeah, you've got to have a little bit of blood. That's not the
A little bit.
really.
Do you call it blood?
Well, these irony things that the same that the fossilized bones got, right? Remember the bones?
Bones?
Bones.
Yeah.
You mean fossils or bones? Which
Bones.
Bones.
Adam, bones are right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't understand what people like about alcohol. I mean, it's so and if you drink too much and you lose your mind, basically. I mean, the spirit takes over, right? And then
that's the skill, Betty. Keeping
It's
your
a skill?
mind.
what's
Yeah.
the skill to come to just to that point where you don't lose your mind and still got it, or
You don't want to be like that, do you? That's silly. That's
Yeah, well, many people are silly with alcohol, aren't they?
takes years of training.
Well, I've seen people train and drink themselves to death, basically.
You shouldn't overtrain.
Yeah. Oh. And you know that in some places these alcoholic things are so expensive. I think it's Iceland and Sweden that they are so expensive. You have to go to special liquor stores from the state. Only the states in can sell the alcohol. So don't move up there, I think.
I'm not. Don't worry. There'll be. I think yeah, Norway, all the Scandinavia. It's because there's sod all else to do in the winter, and they've got fantastic healthcare systems by the state. I know they're highly taxed, but actually, they've got sod all else to spend the money on, so they have to tax the thing they do spend it on very highly, from what I see. So,
So
as well as like, they're kind of in like this 6 months of the year, they have like a lockdown, don't they? Like we've all gone through. They've just been dark all the bloody time. So if you are sat in the house all the time, you know, past couple of years, lockdown proves you do drink more. So maybe that's financial inducement to not drink as much as well. But I don't think that ever works, does it? Just makes you poorer. You don't drink less. You just drink quicker.
Yeah, because then these people will not eat, and then you get even more spirited.
That was a good one, spirited. And then there's a pause, and then you quickly added the did.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. Yeah. Wait,
Yeah,
that was it was a stick save.
Yeah, you have to remember, it's not my natural language.
It isn't, and I shouldn't make fun of you. You're right. Because I could never do it in another language. It would be a train wreck of epic proportions.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You know, thanks.
Yeah, because you have been saying some Dutch words back in the day.
That's, to be honest, sounds like Klingon to me.
Yeah, I get you. But I think that there's other languages too that sound more Klingon to me. Klingonly.
Hagen, slagen, 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 klotzen.
Hagelslag.
That's what I'm talking. Exactly.
It's some sort of pellet that you put on your bread. It's made from chocolate.
You put chocolate on bread?
Yeah, we do. And then we also have something called vlokken, and that's sort of like flakes and that's flakes of chocolate that you put on your bread.
I have never ate chocolate.
Continentals like that, don't you? Like sprinkles, hundreds and thousands, I think they're called in England.
Yeah, you get sprinkles. Yes, but the sprinkles, we got them from chocolate, but also in different tastes and stuff. Yes, and it's nice. You get some people put it on cakes and ice creams, but we put it on our bread. Quite good.
It's hagelslag. How do you say it? Because Arwen just printed it.
Hagelslag.
Hagelslag. Is that good?
Oh, it sounds like you vomit, but okay.
Chocolate on bread. I never. No.
I've never haggled with slags.
I didn't think you would. Not coherent.
Yeah, choco-vlokken, yeah. That's great, Aaron. Yeah, they don't know this. Huh? En dan heb je ook nog vruchtenhagel. You got vruchtenhagel. It's also something that you can put on your bread.
Outstanding. I'm sure everyone joined.
So much. And then you guys just poison yourself with alcohol and stuff.
Got friggin' rumpus.
Yeah, and you with your cold turkey or whatever that is that you drink.
I do. I use it for medicinal purposes only.
Yeah, sure.
I do.
I bet Adam says that same thing as in being a pharmacist.
Well, mental well-being is just as important as physical.
I agree.
Yeah, but has that to do with alcohol?
Well, like I said, mine is actually medicinal. So, no, really, I'm not just saying it. I use it, and I don't drink all that much. In fact, I stopped drinking because I used to, when you're a teenager, early 20s, later 20s, a little bit wild. So I was a bit crazy on it, but I never needed it. So it was easy to stop. So I quit drinking. That is, I just stopped drinking at about, I think it was like 28 or 29, and didn't take another drink for over 25 years.
Okay.
Yep. So this has just been a recent. This has just been a recent development. It's for a small ailment I have.
A small one.
Yeah, it's a small.
Is that called stress?
Say again.
Is that called stress?
No, not at all. Nope.
You say an ailment, little ailment.
No, for stress, I got the nail spike 44-inch Louisville Slugger right here. I don't need that. I got that covered.
Hello, everyone, by the way.
What's up, Brian?
Evening, Brian.
I just want to back up Betty that chocolate on bread is phenomenal. And anyone who hasn't had it are missing out.
Thanks.
Nutella, you mean?
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Oh, I can't buy that because it will be gone in soon if I had that.
Palm oil muck.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. But
there's many mucks in many sort of ways that people eat, right? We all have our things to eat.
you can get the real stuff, can't you? Made properly. And it's like a tenner a jar, 10 euros a jar. Oh, that's nice. Now that is nice, but very, very different. It's not sugar, it's nutty and cocoa. Yeah, get it from right in Italy. A much more reasonable price. That's where they invented it, isn't it? But yeah, that other stuff is symptomatic of what's wrong with the world. It's pseudo, isn't it?
So Nutella is now what's wrong with the world, huh?
Well, it shows you, yeah. It purports to be one thing, but when you investigate it, its constituent parts are not what you thought it was, and it therefore isn't what you thought it was.
Mostly sugar, Adam. Is that what you're saying?
Palm sugar, though, isn't it? With Nutella, it's not even cane or.
No, just that liquidy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't eat anything like that. I can't have any sugar of any kind or salt or anything like that. So I miss all those things.
I make my own jam. Like we just finished brambles season, so we've been picking elderberries and brambles and stuff, and cordials and jams, and you have to use sugar there. I've got no issue with using, even refined sugar like there into a jam to preserve stuff. There's a very big difference between that and the mass-produced homogenized muck that they then sprinkle chocolate in and pass off as something else, which is, like I said, I've had it and it's absolutely gorgeous. I
reckon that's part of the reason why I have such a problem with sugar, because for my generation, growing up in the late 70s and 80s, that's when all that stuff came in, and I reckon I just ended up having too much of that kind of thing, or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they definitely made it more sort of addictive, that stuff. It was more pure in the past than it is now. And I don't take that brand, I take a more like a house brand or something else that's more pure in a sense. But I don't use it anymore. I mean, if I have it in the house, it's gone. Basically, some things that's too good to be left on the shelf.
I know about that.
Yep.
Really, all I miss it. Sorry, QE, go on.
I was going to say, people started piling in. They started listening to your dietary restrictions, and people's talking about diet. People started listening. So, continue.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I have no diet background.
Dietary restrictions.
Not either.
Yeah.
I have then.
Yeah.
Truth is, I don't know why it is. I don't know why it is that, but I just know that if I have salt or sugar, I will have a bad reaction, and it'll last for a time. Like my diet is extremely limited. But then again, I can drink orange juice. I can eat oranges. I can eat apples. I can eat bananas. But there's other fruits like plums doesn't suit me, and obviously all other sugars. Can't have without having a bad reaction. It'd be like I have a hangover that would last for days, and I'd have all kinds of
Yeah, we were out there talking. Right, this is what we do, and everyone that comes to the Tuesday shows usually get hungry in chat. That's what we do.
Yeah. And then we feed them something else.
We talk about food, everyone gets hungry. Then they leave to go eat.
They go eat.
Too funny.
Or they get served ball tarts.
So let's get to the. Oh God, there's Neil. Right? Let me check.
Yes, there's Neil, and I'm suffering here with no shows today. So let's get it going.
Yeah. Well, he's right in a way. Right?
What's on your mind, Neil?
Oh, I'm ready for flat Earth debate. Nothing. Not a, hey, no show today. Hey, tomorrow we'll resume. Nothing.
Well,
I was hoping you would come live, and thank you, QE.
well, you're welcome. You just got to understand that some lack social graces.
The damn English, that's what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of English in here too, Neo. I'd be careful.
I know darn well there's a lot of English in here.
Got Brian Mabbitt. I didn't see you up there, sir. How's it going? I haven't heard from you in a coon's age. What's up?
Good evening, all.
Good evening, sir.
Hey, Brian.
Brian.
Hey, I could have been worse. I could have called them a bunch of limey bastards.
I've got a question about the Foucault's pendulum.
You do?
I do.
Go ahead.
I assume that they believe the Earth rotates under the pendulum. Pendulum stays in its plane. Is this correct?
That is correct. I don't know if they believe that. You'll get a number of different stories depending on which balltard you ask, but you got that. That is correct. That's the concept behind the Foucault pendulum. Yes.
What if the pendulum is not swinging?
Then the pendulum's not swinging. Then there's nothing.
Would Earth rotate under a stationary pendulum?
No, because it's attached to the Earth.
It's swinging. It's attached to the Earth.
The premise is a frictionless gimbal, though, isn't it? So
Yes.
Brian has a point, really. Technically, if the gimbal is frictionless, then at the point where the Earth rotation is applied as a force to that gimbal, we should just freely move around it, shouldn't it? Leaving the.
I've got a setup right now that I'm testing. It's just a £5 hammer, literally hanging. But they made me build a question mark with a grinded point into a punched hole. So it's allowed to turn about probably 220 degrees. I don't see why it needs to be swinging if the Earth is rotating beneath the pendulum.
It's a second. I'll stand corrected. It isn't a secondary reference frame that its inertial is combined with a gimbal allow it to act independent. So is then the rotational effect is applied at the point of the pivot, and it's that applied force that is the change, isn't it? It occurs in there. So it might be a combination of two. It's ages since I've looked into how the pendulum steps outside of the, and this is the contradiction, isn't it? How it steps into a separate reference frame while still attached.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the point. It's kind of nonsensical because we know it doesn't process. So,
well, the frictionless gimbal is the key point. But what are you asking, Brian? Should the pendulum start moving on its own? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, in their imagination, the Earth rotates under the pendulum that is swinging.
Like
as I see it,
Brian, stop right there. I hate to interrupt you, right? But no, it depends on who you talk to. The balltards, I'm telling you, they will not comport with that. They'll get around that.
How?
I don't know. I've heard it literally thousands of times, different scenarios with the Foucault pendulum. If you say that Earth rotates underneath the pendulum, if they admit that, then they're screwed. Right?
Why?
Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
It wasn't me. Who said why?
I said why. Why are you screwed if you say that?
Why are they screwed if they say the Earth turns underneath the pendulum?
You are screwed when they say that. You said it the other way around.
No, they're screwed. As soon as they admit that, it's over. Not Brian,
Oh, well.
yeah, we got confused. Not Brian, but them. Baltards.
Let me shout out Super Chat before it's too late, because it's from Sasha, Unitox Femu, who says, "No pendulum now. We are on recipes and tastes." He said. Recipes, I think that he means. So you got a Super Chat there.
Thanks, Joshua. Appreciate that. Brian, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. We will take that first statement as read, but it isn't. So go ahead.
Right. I just can't understand their thinking. If they're saying Earth is rotating under a swinging pendulum, then the pendulum must retain its axis, and the building it is in is rotating underneath it, around it.
Now,
Right. Sorry, go on.
I just want to back you up. This is the point. To answer it, you've got to get them to define why it's happening first and foremost. Because there's something, and I won't stand
Betty,
by this.
hold on, Adam. Hold on, Adam. 1 second. Betty, you're back feeding.
How am I backfeeding? I'm not. There's nothing there.
You need to go on mute when you're not talking. You're back feeding.
I'm not.
You are.
That's what I am.
No, let them go for a bit.
Now, go ahead, Adam. Go ahead and finish up.
I won't stand by. There's something niggling in my head when I've looked at this in the that one of the apologetics I've heard is it's the applied rotational force on the gimbal that creates a disalignment, which creates the change in movement as well. So maybe, like I said earlier, you might need the two in their world, but I think fundamentally you've got to do what John says, which is to make them define what's causing it first before you can take it apart. Because I think with your suggestion is wiggle room. They might have been under the belief before you posited that's how it worked. As soon as you do, they'll squirm, won't they? So you're better off getting them to define how it works, and then you can destroy it whichever way they want to present it, if that makes sense.
That's a very important point, Brian. You have to this goes back to a point that I always make. Whenever you get into a discussion with anyone, not only the brain dead baltards, have those people that are making the claims define hyper specifically what they're talking about. Because if you don't, it's going to turn into a friggin' train wreck almost immediately. You're going to start arguing back and forth because you're not on the same sheet of music. This is a very important point. Iron out immediately what they think the Foucault pendulum is and the mechanism of its action. Go ahead, Brian. You had something. Brian's logic had something to say.
Thanks, Kimmy. But Brian, I looked into all that pendulum stuff some years ago, and like we've all looked into it at this stage, and it's like a pendulum on a moving attached to a moving surface will move, right? It'll start moving by its own accord, right? The only time that they can even claim that the Earth is rotating underneath a pendulum is when
You're cutting out.
the whole thing is complete nonsense.
Brian,
yeah?
Drop out and come back in again, man. You're chopping.
Oh, sorry, Kiwi. Okay.
Go ahead, radio check.
I should be okay now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Start your point again.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Yeah, right. the only time that the pendulum ever rotates underneath their globe is when they have to move the pendulum. If you put a pendulum on any moving surface, that pendulum will not stay stationary. So if you can keep a pendulum stationary, their claim of a pendulum proving the rotation of a globe is complete nonsense, because if it can be stationary, then it can't be moving. And I looked into all that some years ago, and the pendulum, if you look at the Los Angeles Observatory, they have an electromagnetic motor that makes sure that the pendulum moves in the exact amount and the exact direction that they need it to do. And when they don't have these electromagnetic motors in places like universities and that, they have people who are assigned to make sure that the pendulum keeps moving in the desired direction. And if it starts moving in the other direction, they stop it and move it in the desired direction. It's complete and utter nonsense. I understand your question of, is it still rotating underneath the pendulum if the pendulum is still? If the pendulum is still, it's not rotating. That's the end of that. As I said, it only starts rotating when they make it move, in their belief. Finished.
The museum models you mentioned should be described as what they are. They're demonstration models, of the supposed effect. They're not test apparatus to show it. As you say, years ago, when you look into these things, and the one at the South Pole apparently, and the likes, actually, what's at the top of these things is not what we talked about earlier, a free frictionless gimbal, which is what you try to have in your gyro. It's not a frictionless area. It's actually a small mechanical device, generally magnetic, I think, aren't they? Electromagnetic things that kind of regulate it like a clock. They're just basically a little motor that turns the pendulum like the internal mechanism of a clock based on rotation. So, and in this case, it's adjusted for latitude. But fundamentally, what they aren't is Foucault pendulums. These things in the museums, they're things that demonstrate how a Foucault pendulum would work on a ball Earth.
Good point, Adam. Brian, anything on? Do you have anything else? Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that's brought up some good points there. It's just that I've been tasked to build one to prove to myself that there's rotation. I thought what I'd do is a static test first. Now, how they explained it to me was the Earth rotates under the swinging pendulum and gives you this 15 degrees of an hour of movement. So I thought, well, I'll do a static test first, and just putting two and two together, it would seem to me that it should rotate whether the pendulum is swinging or not. I might be wrong.
Who are hold 1 second, Brian. Who are they?
Gem Pandas.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know you'd say that.
That's ironic, because we got something from Shamalama Gamma Pin Ding Dong just coming up here in a few minutes. I would say this, Brian. Once they understand the mechanism of how the Foucault pendulum should work, and you just said it, right? You just said it before, that the Foucault pendulum rotates under, or the Earth rotates underneath the pendulum. Once you get them there, they're dead. Because, and I know you want to stick with the Foucault pendulum argument, but I would pivot, no pun intended, I would pivot then to, well, why doesn't anything else do the same thing underneath with the Earth rotating underneath? And I'd go right to plane flight, right to the straight plane flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles, because they can't get out of it. Once you commit to the Earth rotating underneath the pendulum, you're done. As a ball-tard, you're finished. So
it's a free concession, isn't it, for a flat earther? It's a funny concession. Let them have it, because guess where it's going.
Yep.
You can have it. Take it.
So when they do say it,
pendulum works. Yeah.
When they do say it, and they say, and you put it, because you said it very well, eloquently before, the way you said it, make sure you iron them down to that the Earth is rotating underneath the pendulum. And then it's like whack-a-mole time.
Yeah, that's how they explained it to me. But if you mention about, well, how come nothing else does it? Conservation of momentum.
No, they don't.
Why doesn't the pendulum have conservation of momentum?
No, number one, they just conservation of momentum. They don't know what they're talking about. Whether it's conservation of linear momentum, they don't. Number one, they don't know what conservation of momentum is. Whether it be linear, and then they go into angular, where there's 4 subtypes, well, the 2 types and 2 subtypes underneath. They don't know that. They just conservation of momentum. They have no idea what they're talking about. So I don't know. Let's have one come in. Go ahead and bring one in and have them go through the conversation live here, and I'll show you exactly how it goes.
Most of them are just spitting out of their mouth what they see in Google.
Yep.
That's all. They Google it, and then they spit it out.
Yeah, I don't think I know anybody that actually come in and face your QE.
We'll see if you can go find somebody and bring them in, and I'll stay out of it. We could just have you and those guys go. We just need to iron out the mechanism of the Foucault pendulum. Once you do that, sir, it's over. Sorry for the rest of your demonstration with the Foucault pendulum. You're going to have to pivot from there.
Yeah.
Or let them have you chase your tail. Either one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, mate.
Yep.
Brian, they add in. Sorry, basically.
Sorry, I will first shout this out. It's also from Sasha. Unitox Femu says, from anti-craft military experience, 1992, I could only say no rotation, no Coriolis, only accounting on speed and angular size of aircraft.
Yep, he's correct. Yeah, thanks a lot, Sasha. Yep, you're exactly right. Yeah, you ain't going to do anything. So he was part of an aircraft, anti-aircraft battery in 91 and 92. That was back in the day, man. I was still in. So shout out to Sasha. Thank you for your service. Where'd you serve, by the way, Sasha? We don't have to get into that. We could talk about that on a personal note.
In that Sarajevo time, what you wanted to go, your daughter wanted to go.
I gotcha. I'm tracking with you. All right. Yep.
I went out and they started to bomb that town.
Oh, they went in and then they started to bomb. Yeah, I seen
Yeah, really. I went out in February and Sarajevo, they started to bomb I think in June, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah. That was in military, yeah. And I'm not so young, yeah.
Yeah, I figured that. I seen the picture that you posted. Were you in that picture?
No, but that was like I'm not at that picture, but that was because I could not. I have some pictures, but not on computer. How to say?
I got you. I thought that you might have been in that one because I seen you posted before.
No, I find it on the internet only to show people that weapon it's I think from 74, something like that.
Right.
I don't know even what is the name, but it has that 3, pipe tubes.
Yeah.
You need battery to shoot. It's not only one that you need like 10 of them to shoot, and you're shooting in front of aeroplane.
Yeah.
Like 1 or 2 sides.
It's like a Gatling gun.
Yeah. Because your bullet need to arrive there.
Is it like a Gatling gun? It spins, right? Yep. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it either. Nomenclature.
I think it's.
Go ahead.
I will tell you a lie now. It's 24 millimeter or something.
Yeah.
I forget it.
Yep. It's been too long for me. I used to memorize. We'd have to memorize, give the nomenclatures of mainly enemy weapons.
And I was young. I didn't even study too much, but we wanted to finish army, and to go home.
Yeah, right. Sure. So listen, we got everyone in here. Let's set off on the. I wanted to give everyone a chance to listen to the beginning of the show because not everyone was in here. So, and then we got an extra special bonus of a couple of numpty dipshits. You're not going to believe this, folks, but let's go. Mike, discipline, please. I'm not going to share it though. So make sure you guys are watching the watch page or looking at the watch page so we won't be redundant. Here we go. I think. Put that over there. Here we go. BobberRooney.
BobberRooney.
BobberRooney. You are so loony. BobberRooney. You got me laughing and a rolling, smirking and a scoffing. BobberRooney. BobberRooney.
You are so dumb. Damn.
Because you have the positive claim.
My reason, all claims are positive.
You unlock this door with the key
to retardation.
Beyond it is another dimension. You're moving into a land of
bullshittery.
You've just crossed over into
the numpty zone.
My reasoning is, so saying the Earth isn't a globe, that's a positive claim.
That's why I don't think you guys fully understand what you're talking about when you say the black swan disproves the globe Earth, because even if it did prove something, all it does is prove that the R value that we use to make our calculations is incorrect.
At best, what you have done, if that was all correct, at best, you would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Well, there you have it. We'll have to wait for those guys to come in a second. Just hold off.
They realize, though, when they say that you've only disproved the radius, what that means?
Yeah, they don't. They don't. Obviously, they don't understand what that means at all. Nope, they don't. That's what's hilarious. Sorry about it. It was too loud out there. I got you. Sorry about that. Turn the volume down. Just the way it happened. So there you go. There was a couple points in there. Seems that Gem Panda, Shamalama Gamba Panda Ding Dong, is such a remedial retard. He doesn't know what a negative claim is. He thinks all claims are positive claims. Folks, he's a grown adult. I mean, once he says that, then there's no sense in talking about anything. I wouldn't trust him if he told me what the weather was where he's at. There's no sense in talking to him about anything just above, maybe something just above the surface. Maybe how to open up a gumdrop wrapper. Numpty dipshit. Shamalama. A negative claim is asserting non-existence or the exclusion of something. That's a negative claim. So when someone says...
He's an atheist, John. If he's an atheist, so he has now to prove that God doesn't exist? Is that sort of thing?
I guess that would be a positive claim in his eyes.
Well, good luck to that.
That sounds a shed load harder than trying to prove something's not a ball of said radius 3959.
Yeah. So any negative, as soon as you hear not, isn't, doesn't exist, that should clue you it's a negative claim. Next block of instruction, how to look through a window while standing. That's the level that we're at here, folks. This is the stupidity that we're dealing with. So the next claim, that's even too stupid to even discuss. He's such a numpty dipshit. The next claim, and then he pulls this guy, I don't know who that was, that said more or less what Mr. Insensible did. Well, at best, you disprove the radius of the Earth. Yeah, we did. So I don't know. You guys aren't making connections that your fairy tale ball-tard spinning space monkey has to be what they told you it is. That is the necessary contingent to almost everything you do with your satellites, every fairy tale space expedition, all orbits. You need to know the radius at a minimum. It's involved in everything. You can't change your story.
That's great.
Are you guys morons? True or false?
Neil, you chipped in there. Do you reckon Mr. Sensible knows even... I mean, we fell about laughing when he said that because we understood the implications of it. Do you think he grasps the implications of his concession now?
No, they don't. It's obvious. You just heard it from a gentleman. This is right hot off the presses. Shout out to Chemo out there. I ran into this one this morning. It's obvious that they don't make the connection. Not only that they don't understand the Black Swan, it's been almost 2 years, right? The Ball-Tards as a whole don't understand the argument just yet. All they do is refraction. We're going to deal with that here in a couple minutes. But a lot of flat earthers don't know the argument either. That's a big problem. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to run that. And we'll go over a little bit of the Black Swan. It's not going to be an in-depth thing, just a refresher, and talk a little bit about refraction here coming up. But if you just listen to that, folks, I mean, it's scary. You're underneath a carnival tent. And these people think they're intellectuals. That's the truly hilarious thing.
That's the funny part.
Yep.
They still sit there and think that they're intellectuals.
Yep. So there you go. Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, Kiwi. I was just going to say that the equivalence of that from our side would be like someone from our side being brought into space and seeing the globe Earth rotating, and then coming back saying, "I still think it's flat." Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you know what's the equivalence from our side? Being shown the geometric horizon, you know, and us going over it in a boat. I mean, that would be, and then still saying, well, I still think it is kind of flat. You know, that would be the equivalence, wouldn't it?
That's exactly what they do, though, Brian. It's there. You're taken into space. You see the spinning ball, and you then deny the reality. Yeah, and this is not a little reality, as the Black Swan reality denial, as the Black Swan shows. Yeah. We're not moving R by a couple of 100 miles. We're moving it by orders of magnitude in the Black Swan. Yeah. So it is a reality denial. Sadly for them. But yeah, you're right. It's the exact equivalent. That's not a spinning ball. Clearly flat. Huh?
Well, if the R value was bigger, like any claim of even it being, let's just say it's 250 miles bigger, right? If there was 250 miles, if they tried to, even a claim of 250 miles wider at the equator and at the poles of their globe, right? Like even anything like that, or 100 miles, well, that distance has to be shown. I mean, we have you have to show this. You'd have to show this you'd have to be showing this in the north of the equator. You'd have to be showing these distances. Where are they made up? Do you know what I mean? To make the R value bigger, because let's say if they are using distances using air flight, they're using longitudinal distances, right? They have this nonsense, this great circle rubbish. It's just following longitudinal paths, because that's the best way to get around the world, because it's flat. But to add on any distance at all, then it has to be added on to countries, to continents, to seas, to air travel. Everything has to, like, I mean, you can't just even have it a couple of hundred miles bigger. Like, that would be noticed. Do you know what I mean, isn't it? What about Google Earth? I mean,
if the great circles are based on R, then the Black Swan would ruin everything, doesn't it? The point, you can do all of this, but it's all based on R. Okay, so all of their stuff,
Correct.
yeah, fits in, and R is constructed around what we observe, how the star works, everything, yeah. But all of it's then supplanted onto the ball and backworked. It's a bit like why a sextant will work on a ball while the ballers are screaming. It will, but you've got to have R. And fundamentally, we've been asking now since, January 2020, don't we? The Black Swan. Where are you getting your R? Because ex-ballers have attested that's what held this together for them, was the premise that the horizon was their way of measuring R. The Black Swan takes that away. There is no way of defining this R. The only way of defining it is backworking it and putting it onto your already predefined R, which is easy enough to do mathematically. And that's all they do. And that's particularly with the sextant, what they're showing for me. Yeah, what they're demonstrating, as much as they struggle and fumble. But we had Bob on, didn't we? On Nathan's last week.
BobberRooney?
What? BobberRooney. BobberRooney. Wow, mate. First of all, to that. But kind of he brought in and decided he was going to educate us with a diagram, and what we all as flat earthers noticed straight away was his admission on that diagram, which is why we relabeled it for him, because you can work forward, Bob, from that point if you've got R, but they don't have R, and they don't have a way of defining R by their own admissions. And that's the crux of it, right? For me, it's all of it is based on a presupposition of mathematically taking reality and put it on this way of working, or you can put it on that way of working. But you can only put it on a ball way of working with a predefined R, which, as far as I'm aware, has yet to be demonstrated how it's been derived. And every method they've purported has been shown to be bogus and false and riddled with contradiction and error. I'll stop rambling.
Well, what I'd say about Bob is I reckon that Bob really does try hard to be as honest a person as possible. But he's in a position, like he came in to Nathan's only because I feel that he really believes that what he was saying was correct, because it has to be worked that way if you believe you're on a globe. So it was on a loser. Like, there was no way out of that. He was coming in to try and defend something that was undefendable. So it won't matter if he was the best debater in the world. You couldn't defend that. Do you know what I mean? You won't be able to defend that. So it's like a lot of things. Like Bob ended up having to work around things that he couldn't deal with, which would be the R value, simply because he has no choice. If he is to continue believing that he's on a globe, he can't deal with R because R has been debunked. So he has to. Like, the only reason he came in there and faced that, like, I'm fair just to him. Like, even Nathan said it, and I said it. Like, he came in. Like most others won't. He came in, gave it a go. But you can't defend that. Sorry, come on.
You defend his integrity, and I'm not here to attack it, but from a intellectual level, I think Brian used that word, or an intellectual honesty level, if you're going to present a geometric diagram where some straight lines are very pertinent to how things are calculated. Clearly, if two of those straight lines are divergent from the center of a circle, yeah, they're crucial to every bit of calculation. To not label them and to not identify them, and to try and move forwards and accept people that bit that's not labeled, even though it's in your diagram and crucial, is irrelevant. Yeah, I genuinely, if I'm presenting something to somebody to explain something, I couldn't do that, even if I'm a baller, without mentioning R. And I have to ask why you wouldn't mention R. I'm not saying he's dishonest, but it's very, very odd that the fundamental way in which you measure something from the center of a ball, which is how they change use of a sextant from the surface to the center of a ball, why that distance wouldn't be the first thing I would discuss, honestly, when I'm talking to somebody to explain how it actually works, in my opinion, if I am being honest.
Exactly.
Well, he, as I said, he is probably someone who, if you met him in a general life, he probably would be straight and honest. Due to his kind of public profession, I'd say he kind of, if he deals with a lot of public, like, you have to be somewhat honest if you're doing that kind of a thing. And but I think it's like if I ended up on heroin or crack cocaine, at some point, even though I want to be an honest person, at some point, I'm going to lie, because I'm in a position where I'm trying to keep alive, keep going, this position alive as being an addict. But
so
I'm going to have to.
You got some analogies today.
Let me ask a question then. If I was explaining something to you with regards to the sextant, and I went into great detail as to why the height above the water, whether that's 5 foot, 10 foot, 100 foot, stick me on top of a mountain 2 miles high, yeah? Why, if I have to take that into account, I don't have to take into account the 3,000 or 4,000 virtually miles of the other bit that's going to adjust my geometry when I do this calculation? Why would you exclude the way in which your standard planar geometry is perverted and subjected to being everything, instead of being planar, being on the surface of a sphere? Therefore, every angle is then taken back by 3,959 miles to the center of a sphere. Why, when you're trying to explain to people, and you've gone into great detail as to why the observer height is so important and how it relates to curvature, supposedly in his understanding of the mathematics, yeah, why would you not mention the 3,959 miles that focus on the 20 foot?
Well, I like, everything I saw from him wasn't an explanation of how the sextant works. He was explaining as best he could how it has to work on a globe. So he wasn't there explaining to us how it works. He was there trying to explain to people how it would work on a globe, because that's what he believes he's on. He genuinely believes he's on.
Yeah, but he's delusional, because when he first came out here, he didn't even know what the purpose of the sextant was.
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. And I know, I hand on heart, I admit that that's true. But he believes he's on a globe. So everything has to work on a globe.
He's a dishonest bastard.
No. Remember, I told you. No, he's not. And Brian, I think Brian's correct. I don't think he's dishonest, because I've said many times before that is not the face of a liar, folks. It is not. It just isn't. And I identified it before. I'll show it to you again. That's not the face of a liar right there. He's not lying. He's so far.
What the hell is it?
Delusional Dunning-Kruger. I mean, clinical level. It's beyond clinical level. That's the scary part. And if you ever hear Jaron go into this, he says If you ever see him, run. So the question is, and we're gonna get past this. We're gonna get past this because it's
cognitive dissonance, John.
No, delusion, delusional Dunning-Kruger.
Let me explain why it's cogdis.
Go ahead.
He's selectively taking the information. The bit you just heard me rant about in terms of taking R, he's excluding it. He's not prepared to consider it in his evaluation. Yeah, in terms of the implications of what he does to the geometry and how he's subverting everything, and how fundamentally that is all fundamentally based on an accurate measurement of R, because it perverts the geometry to the center of a sphere instead of across a flat plane, right? So to ignore that, with him knowing that he hasn't got a way of deriving R, the only way he can say is it works on a sphere of 3959, yeah? And it's completely cogdis because he's completely ignoring that information, which is the bit that takes his validation away, because he takes the bit that he can't validate, ignores it, and then moves forward. As I said in the diagram, he moves forward because everything from that point is validatable with measurements and presupposition. He can't get the R, and so it's totally cogdis. He's been in that bit of information and only listening to the positive affirmations, which is the mathematical matchups, which is
yeah. But what happened before that, though, Adam? Remember, I said, you were in there. He didn't know what the purpose of the sextant was right from the beginning, and then he pulls the BobberRooney. Is that cogdis? When you
no, that's why it's Dunning-Kruger.
I couldn't sit through the video you sent me, but the bid that the Dunning-Kruger I did see is now claiming he's a competent sailor, does this all the time. That's the Dunning in my head. He's now like, he takes like 6 months he'll be taking part in the.
No, that's not the video. Hold on. That's not the video I sent you. Last week's BALLBUSTERS had it, and Nathan reran it, where he stole Pythagoras' formula, and then him and Hillbilly Blue Balls coined the name BobberRooney.
Oh, no, that was part of the gloating he does in that video. I've seen it, and honestly, I got through half of it, and I couldn't watch anymore. I was just like, maybe I'm gonna have to get my pen out. It is delusional, and more importantly, the Dunning-Kruger is the bit where he adulates by a bunch of other numpties giving him this title, which, if you understand it, as we've gone through Uncle Bubby's maths, it's like being called king of the retards.
I wasn't ready for that one. So can we summarize by saying it is clinical level, beyond clinical level Dunning-Kruger with garnished with cogdis? Would that be fair? And then we could close it out.
I'll take a garnish of cogdis, a heavy garnish.
And when you see him run for cover.
That's what Jaron says. I lost it when he said it, because I was saying that for a couple years, and then I was watching Jaron do an evaluation of what it was hilarious. By the way, I think Jaron was doing he was doing an exposition between Brandon and Bob, something like that. I just ran into it, right? I was belly laughing. That's how funny it was. And that was one of the things he said. He said, "You see this guy? Run." I said, "Yep." He sees it also. All right, so we can wrap that up. That's good. Because I wanted to jump in a little bit of the Black Swan, because like I said, I've been getting the feeling, running around that obviously the ballers don't know what the Black Swan is. It's almost been 2 years that they still don't get it. Right, but some flat earthers don't get it either, because I've been hearing a lot of people, especially when the ballers come back with their claims against it, they're not comfortable, right? So that tells me that they're not understanding it all that well, which I find. Go ahead.
I said before you start the slideshow, you probably heard tonight. I've heard a number of flat earthers mention the number one globe killer is the sextant. No, it ain't, in my opinion. It's number two. Yeah, and it's only number two, not because of its profoundness, not because of its way in which we can use it in reality, but the Black Swan stays there because, like I said, Bob didn't want to go past why R isn't there. And then you can build a mathematical world that fits with reality from there if you've got R. Black Swan, Mr. Sensible, yeah, takes your R. He takes everything. He takes your sextant from you, yeah, on a ball, yeah. You can still think you're on a ball and use a sextant and go 69 degrees per mile and think that that degree relates to Earth curve and get around, yeah. But you can't when you know there's a Black Swan and that your R is no longer geometrically defined by the horizon. Yeah, that is a premise for using and perverting the mathematics of how a sextant works. Yeah, so to be on a ball. So for me, the sextant is number two. It's great. Yeah, and I love the way it's come there. But fundamentally, it still needs to smash the living crap at every single angle out of the ballers. He still needs the Black Swan to back it up. I still want to, for me, keep it as number one, John.
Yeah, I think they complement each other. And like we were talking about before, you know, if you remember back then, when I conceived of this argument, the morning that I conceived of the modus tollens, once I got to not Q, the sextant popped into my mind. As soon as, I'm telling you, it was at the same time. And if you remember back then, I even brought it up, but I brought it up as a question. I said, what about the sextant? I kept on saying that over and over again, right? They complement each other. It's not one's better than the other. It's just they're complementary, I feel.
Yeah, but you've got to have a top 10. So unfortunately, you've got to draw a line. You're right. Everything about the sextant confirms what we're talking about. It not being geometric, you know. But fundamentally, the way the Black Swan disproves that the horizon is not anything geometric, that then backs the sextant up for all of its usage to destroy their mathematics they apply in a backward fashion afterwards, because the only way you can apply those backward mathematics is if your horizon is the leading edge of a ball, and the Black Swan shows that. So they are complementary, but
they are complementary. I think they are. I've been finding, listen, I think that on ease of use, I find the sextant very easy. However, I've been running into, because I bring it up every time now, and I've been waiting for, I've been, you know, going around the usual hangouts and listening in, and a lot of people are not comfortable with it. It's palpable. Right? Because they don't understand it. Well, you have to put the time in to understand it, first of all. So, but I find it very easy. And like I said, there was a big however. For new people coming into this, it might be a little bit difficult for them with the sextant because they don't have any background with it. They've heard of it, right? And I think they understand probably, you know, the icing concept of it. But other than that, they're clueless. They can get swayed really easy by these booger-eating baltards to come out with nonsense. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I've been finding. I'm not going to go away from it. I think it's just going to take time. And we need people that know how to use the sextant and you don't have to know every little thing about it. You just have to understand the overall concept. It's very easy, right? It's an angle measuring device with its purpose to triangulate your position, right? You need, when I say triangulate, that should give you a hint. Triangles, right? And what do all the angles add up to in a triangle? Can somebody give it to me?
180.
Amen. So it really it's really that simple. Now, what the ball-tard bozos are going to do, they're going to try to quibble and bury these things in the mud, you know, with the majoring on the minors things. right? That they just bagak, and people say, boy, that sounds sciencey. That sounds right. No, it's not. They need triangles, right? To triangulate. And the only way you can triangulate, trigonometrically speaking, is using plane geometry. I went over that the other day. Posted the citation. I don't even know why I should. It's self-evident. You need triangles to triangulate on a planar surface. Period. End of story. But I digress. Let's go into this. I want to just go over it very briefly. We're not going to go in depth. I don't think it needs to go in depth. Right? Everyone should get it. We're coming up on the 2-year birthday. Right? There'll be a big shindig right around the turn of the year. Let me tell you that. Betty, get on that, by the way. All right. If P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. That's a simple modus tollens argument. If you're unfamiliar with deductive logic, just go look it up, right? You got modus ponens and modus tollens. It's just their arguments by form, right? You have to get your P's and Q's in order, right? This is a very simple argument. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, P, then every horizon distance measurement must be, you see this, must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet Q. Not Q, and we're going to see that here in a couple minutes because the horizon distance is greater than 9.41 miles with the black swan. Therefore, not P. The Earth is not a sphere. Now, a couple bagaks right off the bat is, well, it's a straw man argument. It's not the actual argument because you're dismissing refraction. Well, this isn't a refraction argument, number one. This argument is a geometric argument. So your appeal about there's no refraction in there is non sequitur. You follow that, ball-tards. That's number one. We're going to get to number two here in a couple seconds with your refraction. We're going to kill that off quick. Right? So this argument logically follows. It's very simple. Right? Now, like I always say, I've taken this from BMLSB 69. This is a still shot from a video. All I did with this photo was color contrast it to bring out the horizon just a tad bit more. That's all I did with this photo. Now, it's not a mystery. You can just go to the original video from BMLSB 69, Bo's channel, right, and go see the video. You're going to see this photo. This, when he goes through the video, if you stop it, you're going to see this exact same photo there. So I didn't do anything to it. Now, the oil platforms are just used for demarcation. We know how far away they are. And what we do is we look at those in comparison to where the horizon is. Now, on a sphere with an observer height of 1 foot, and let me tell you, I heard somebody earlier today say, well, the height that BMLSB is in question. No, it's never been in question. You're just feebly flailing away. Anyone that watches the video will know that it's 1 foot. In fact, Bo told me personally that it was below 1 foot. But I said, let's just go with 1 foot. Just keep it even. But anyone could see it. Baby Huey can look at that video and say, yep, yeah, it's 1 foot. But I digress. It doesn't really matter anyway. It could be 35 feet. You're still screwed, by the way. It'd probably be helpful, ball-tards, if you listen to the presentation, right, that I've done about 12, 15 times. Know your enemy, that sort of thing, right? That would probably be a good idea. But anyway, like I said, I digress. With an observer height at 1 foot, on a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, back to the argument, there is no possible way, geometrically speaking, that horizon can be any further under any circumstances than 1.22 miles. It's impossible. You can't do it, geometrically speaking. So what you do is you look at this photo and say, where is the horizon at? Well, we got the platform hill house at 6.21 miles. It's definitely not there. We can see down to the bottom of it. We got platform habitat over on the left at 9.41 miles. It's definitely not there. It is behind platform habitat at 9.41 miles. What I usually do, or usually say, is that can we safely say that the horizon is 10 miles away? Right? Because that's all I really don't need that, but I just say 10 miles away. Most honest people will say, yeah, we can say it's 10 miles away. It's actually 21 to 25 miles away, but we won't get into that. All I need is 10. So, and then I just put it to them, how can the horizon be 10 times further than it should be? Usually that's where the argument ends. And yeah, I just exit stage left because there's nothing for me left to say. Because geometrically it's over. Right? But you know the comebacks to it now, right? We're going to get to refraction in just a second. This one cracks me up. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, ever since in my inaugural Black Swan address, well, that has a nice ring to it. Betty, write that down. In my inaugural Black Swan address, if you look over here at photo B, that photo was in my presentation and has been in every single Black Swan presentation up to now. So why do I have crayon munchers always bringing the second photo up and saying, well, see, when you have no refraction, we're good. Why does it change? You're morons. Number one, you don't know your enemy. You haven't seen my presentations. If you did, then you wouldn't have bumbled and stumbled into this train wreck. This second photo over here, newsflash, is also a Black Swan. You crayon munching clueless clowns. But you're so stupid you don't even realize it. Right? So let's take a look at this. These two photos are taken with the same camera and camera height 4 days apart. Not only are A and B both Black Swans, let's stop right there. Why is B photo a Black Swan?
You want an answer? Oh.
Good.
Well, the point of the oil platforms is their demarcation points. And if you go...
Hold on. No, I want you to answer my question. We can get back to your point here in a second.
They're demarcation points. So why are they both Black Swans?
Yep.
Is if we just take the first platform at 6.21 miles, it should be considerably... We can still see the base of the platform, exemplified in both pictures of the first platform.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Now, yeah, so it's a Black Swan because we're 1 foot off the surface. Now, statement geometrically, if we're on a ball, is it's 1.2 times the square root of the observer height. So it's 1.22 miles. Well, we should be seeing obstruction from 1.22 miles onwards. What we're seeing is a swell. And local effects as opposed to a flat thing. But so you can see the swell has had some effect because that's in the foreground, obscuring things in the background. But fundamentally, the picture still demonstrates the base of the platform, which should be obscured by some another 25 foot. So you shouldn't be seeing any of the legs, should you really? So it's still a Black Swan, even though you're seeing obstruction in the foreground. Creating a differential between the image of the first and second platforms.
I would say different. I would say that picture B is a Black Swan because picture A exists.
That's what he said.
So, oh, is it? Okay.
That's what he basically, he got around. Okay, let me make it easy for you. There you go. I just put it up.
I said they both are because they demonstrate the tolerance.
Are you seeing the new on the live stream? Were you seeing the arrowed one? See, the second one, let's just make this quick because this should have been over like 10 minutes ago. The second photo, photo B, is a black swan because where's the horizon at? Hey, Baltards, where's it at? We can basically look at the previous black swan and say, okay, how far away is Platform Hillhouse? Because that's where the horizon seems to be. It's really close to Platform Hillhouse. Is it 6 miles away? Is it 5 miles away? I would say roughly it's 6. Now, I can't, give an accurate position of the horizon, but I can damn sure get in hand grenade range. And let me tell you what, it's a lot further than 1.22 miles. Therefore, it is a black swan. Get it? Hopefully everyone got that. Now we can move on. Not only that, but your physical sphere edge horizon that blocks boats and buildings is moved. Does your spinning monkey ball inflate and deflate? Psst, kablooey. You don't even realize it. Now, to the refraction, you guys crack me up with this, man. I'm just sitting. Now, granted, they're a little bit hesitant about saying, they'll say it when the Baltards are in their own little cliques. But if you get them outside their clique, they're hesitant to say refraction now because they've been getting their asses handed to them. Oh, by the way, you're welcome, clown fucks. Refraction, you don't even know what it is, right? But I could kill you quick. I do it too. It's listen, sometimes when they do Bagak refraction and I get into this, they get really, really upset. Now I'm gonna kill it quick because I'm gonna do just 1A. Remember, Your Honor, the prosecutor rests with 1A. That's what I'm going to do right now. So, number one, because we got a 5-dagger fistful of dipshittery, right? But I'm just going to do 1A. Whenever Baltards refraction, they're unwittingly invoking terrestrial refraction. From the subject matter expert, Andrew Thomas Young, San Diego State Astronomy Department, the atmosphere for terrestrial refraction. The atmosphere is also curved. What? As it follows the shape of the Earth. In the calculations below, we'll adopt a rough value of 6,400 kilometers as the radius of curvature to make the calculation simple. You got big problems. So, for terrestrial refraction to exist, two conditions, that is, necessary antecedents, must exist before you can invoke terrestrial refraction. I highlighted them here for you. Number one necessary antecedent, the atmosphere is curved. No, it's not. If you think so, you would fail first grade intro to gas behavior. Number one, you got a paradox. Atmo means air. Air is a gas. Sphere is a shape. Gases have no inherent shape. Like I said, if you think they do, then you'd fail first grade intro to gas behavior. From Christy Bodak, Southwestern University. Grade level 1. I will use this lesson with a first grade class. If an object, follow along with me. If an object is in a gaseous state of matter, it will not have a definite shape or a definite volume. That's another argument over there. All I need is this one right here. You see this, Baltards? Your atmosphere is kaput. You don't have an atmosphere. It's not semantics either. Gases have no definite shape. If you don't believe Christie, we'll just go to Chem Libertex. Like liquids, gases have no definite shape. You are done. The argument's over. You can't even invoke it. Now, some people go to B. And remember that radius of the Earth that you need? Yeah, you also need it because it's part of the definition Andrew Thomas Young just gave you. It's part of the two necessary antecedents right there. You need that to make the calculations. You can't calculate anything involving your refraction without these two. And you need the radius. Where'd you get the radius? Where'd you get R? You're going to need R for that. Clown shows. So you must know the radius of the Earth. Simple. How'd you do that? Can't use the horizon. It's refracted. Now, as a killer, I can give you, even if I don't stop at 1A, which I usually do for the most part, and just drop the mic because it's over.
Not.
Say again?
You better not.
Yeah, I usually just drop the mic. I know 5A. We're not going to get we're not going to 5A. But even if I gave them all of the 5 daggers, there's 4 paradoxes. Even if I granted them every single one of their paradoxes, you're still screwed. Even in your fairy tale paradigm, refraction, which you can't even define it. If you want some fun, ask them to define looming and cite it. Yeah, good luck. Even if I'd given you all 5 paradoxes and said you can have them, there is no way, even in your imaginary story, that you can take and jettison that horizon 10 times at a minimum further than it should be. You're finished. It's all over but the crying now. We're just laughing. Laughing on your graves. That's it. Questions, comments?
I got 2.
Yep.
First one is in response to that bit, in terms of how can you jettison the horizon? And I want to cite 5A. I want to cite their priest, Andrew Thomas Young, and the horizontal ray paradox, because it's his work that even in this stratified atmosphere, even if you're given all of that, right, and say sometimes you've got to let them hang themselves, their own experts say it, given all of these things, these pre-assumptions of the atmosphere is curved in some way without a containment, yeah, that even if you allow this gradient to exist in a curvy way, it still doesn't, from an optics point of view, allow for 7/6R. It doesn't create the effect that's purported to be what we see in the Black Swan image. On a point 1, John, I crowbarred it in. It's me.
I knew you would, 5A.
It's so pertinent. Do you understand? Like you always say it, let them speak, yeah? And sometimes let them have bits. Because their own, not their own, but the proven observable things that are there, the things that have been tested, will demonstrate against their claim eventually, you know? Reality will deny them their ball. And if you could just go back to the main Black Swan picture for me.
There you go.
It relates to 7/6R in terms of what they reckon, you know, is playing out in terms of terrestrial refraction to resolve that image. And from looking at, we've got the 2 platforms at 6.2 and 9.4, and there off in the distance is the horizon, which used to be geometric, but clearly isn't. But what we have got is just a little bit of ball analysis. Now, I'm at 1 foot, so I'm not going to quibble about slight differences from observer height. So I'm just going to take straight geometric drop and how cumulative curvature plays out on a ball. Funky the way it plays out. It's quite exponential a little bit. 8 inches per mile squared in the way it accumulates itself. So a 1 mile distance at 2 miles is very different to a 1 mile differential at something that I'm looking at 5 miles. And in the case here, I'm looking at a differential of 3 miles roughly, aren't I, between the 2 platforms? And you think, well, what's 3 miles? About 6 foot. So maybe it is playing out because look, it's roughly flat. platform B is only 6 foot lower than platform A, and therefore, or maybe with 7/6R, it could all it might work in my head if I don't investigate further. But as I said, when you're viewing across a ball, cumulative curvature is very important, and the way it plays out from an observer's point of view isn't to resolve a differential in height of 6 foot. And I'd just like to point out, even if we assume that the first platform Hill House, is clearly lower than platform Habitat. I say you can get apologetics where it's only 6 foot perspective, ends that, whoops it, 7/6 far. It's not. But if you actually look at how cumulative curvature plays out, we're not dealing with 6 foot. Platform Hill House at 6.21 miles should have a drop of about 25 foot. And the platform Habitat at 9.41 miles should have a drop of 59 foot. That changes that roughly calculated 3 mile difference from 6 foot to a 34 foot differential. So the back one should appear 34 foot lower than the front one because of crude curvature of where it's placed on a ball earth. I don't know how 7/6R gets through that in reality, how you can bend that in your mind, make that difference. Because till I'd looked at cumulative curvature and how it plays out on a ball, like I say, you can just look at the differences. I think newbies, please comprehend this purpose with regards to the power in this image. Not 6 foot we're dealing with. That thing that's clearly higher in the background due to perspective is supposedly another 34 foot. And you can't account for that with refraction. And the two.
No one has a better bagak, man. Don't even attempt it.
It was, did you know it was a little subdued? It wasn't given with confidence.
I did. I noticed. Yeah. Too funny, man. Yeah. Damn, I should have had my banana then. Maybe I'll bring up another subject and let you. What about wine?
I've run out of maths. You've done. I've done that in there because, like I say, you're raising this for like folks that have maybe not been exposed to the Black Swan and just hear it quoted. And one of the things is, like I say, is cumulative curvature. This is all about in looking at this picture, and as a flat earther, I can look at it and I can say it's there. It's there, and I see it because it's there. It's a really clear day. It's a really flat sea. Yeah, and I've got great visibility. Yeah, and all the things are where they should be. Yeah, in terms of putting it on a flat plane. The thing rises up, and the reason that platform that's on the same plane is higher is because of perspective. It all makes sense on all of your understanding. But get to the other bit and put it on a ball, there are a number of faults, and the horizon just isn't one of them. And whilst we do just use the oil rigs as demarcation points to express where the horizon actually is, you can actually look at those and look at the differentials, not on a flat earth because there's nothing there but perspective, that show how that negative claim, that can't be happening. Because like I say, it's not about 3 miles difference, it's about the difference between the cumulative curvature accrued between 6 miles and 9.41 miles. And you might be able to explain the difference of 3, but certainly not the cumulative curvature difference. And for me, that's maths is powerful in terms of if you understand their model and the false claims it makes, it's another negative claim.
You crack.
Unless Kiwi, I finish.
No, I was going to ask him if he's cracking himself up.
I'm not. I'm laughing at it. How you can look at that image and get it on a ball. You can't. To just try and resolve that image with all the things that you've got to do. Now, on a flat Earth, we can have a clear day and a calm sea, and we can take that photograph. Explain to me all the variables that have to come together to put that on a ball so that even though you've got a curvature rate, yeah, and a refraction rate of 7/6R and all the other humidity issues, it resolves perfectly, gives the image as if you're on a flat plane. It's almost as improbable from a probability standpoint. It's about as likelihood as life evolving from primordial soup. It just doesn't happen. The factors to come together to pervert. It's like, think of a hall of mirrors. How can you take a ball into a hall of mirrors? What mirror do you need to make your ball look like a flat plane in the hall of mirrors? Because that's what's happening on that day if we live on a ball.
Thanks, Adam. I finished 3/4 of that. Appreciate that.
Ah, damn. I thought that was enough for a banana.
No, you got it. It was, yeah, I got it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I agree, Adam. It's all, listen, like I said, this is barely palpable background noise, but I'm going to do this probably more frequently now. I'm getting the feeling that it just returned to the fundamentals, right? So you're going to be seeing this a lot more. I just got that impression from flat earthers. Baltards ain't going to get it, but I want flat earthers to be confident. So anything that they come back with, right, they're shredded. They got a flamethrower. So go ahead, Brian. You had something you want to add?
Thanks, QE. Well, just on what I said earlier, when I said that photo B is a black swan because photo A exists, about a week, or less maybe than a week, only maybe a few days after the black swan first came out, I think it was the first week of January, or somewhere close to that, in 2020, I debated Ruhif on Ranties. And of course, Ruhif brings up the picture B, or another similar one. And I said, so is that the geometric horizon? And that was the end of it. It was over. Because he couldn't say that was the geometric horizon. He wouldn't, right?
Yeah, I'm tracking with you.
Yeah, it was either picture or a very similar one, but I think it was picture B. And like he had some maths or some whatever to try and explain it. And as soon as I said, so you're saying that's the geometric horizon that we're looking at there. And that was it. It was over. That was the end of the debate at that stage, because he couldn't claim that as the geometric horizon. Because the first picture A, the original Black Swan photograph, the fact that exists means every photograph of the horizon is a globe Black Swan, because that is an impossibility if we were on a globe. So that's kind of the point I was making.
Yeah, I see. Yep. Anything else? Any comments, questions, concerns?
Neil, you must have something to say.
No, I'm just listening to what you just said. I agree. That's 100% correct.
All right, scratch my back with a hacksaw and the fat lady singing, because this is over. It is OVER, over, Globetards. Anything you do, you're going to get flamethrowed. It's getting to the point, right, that I want just your average rank and file flat earther, if you come wobbling your way up to him, right, and he slams you with the Black Swan, anything you, because you don't know what you're talking about. We all know that, right? You're just going to get flamethrowed. It's happened I've heard a few times, just sat back and just prouder than a game rooster, right? Because this is pretty easy. I put it out there where anyone that could fog a mirror could pretty much understand this, right?
Another one. Looking at the Black Swan, and we look at the plane of the water as it continues. Could anybody describe that? And we've got a couple of markers, 6 miles, 9 miles. Could anybody describe that as curving away at a rate of 69, or is it going up? Because the assumption on the ball is that surface is curving away at 1 degree for every 69 miles. Now, they then use that horizon to define their sphere and adjust their calculations on in their maths. Look at the difference between what we're saying, how a sextant works, how we attain a straight line, and we appreciate we're slightly 1 foot above there, so we're going to have to adjust for that flat plane. Look at the comparable differences. Is it an Occam's razor thing, John? It might be, but look at the number of assumptions required for hours on that image of reality and how we say the sextant works and what its measurements purport to be, which is a star, and the angle we measure to that star across the flat plane. The further away it is and its GP is away from the observer, it will move its angular rate at a rate of 69 miles per degree. Or the way in which the ballers describe it, that actually the surface is curving away at a rate of 1 degree equals 69 miles. That image, to me, again, would be contrary to the claim that the way in which the sextant works is the surface of the sea curving away from you, so that 1 degree equates to curvature of the surface, as opposed to the way we see it, which is on a flat plane, that 1 degree is equivalent to its angular change with regards to its GP from the observer's point of view. Not a change in the shape of the surface, it's a change in the distance from the observer of the star. Now, in the baller's world, distance to the star is irrelevant. It's literally due to curvature. I say in that picture, I do not see anything expressing downward curvature that would allow you. Say that there's a star on that horizon there, John. Yeah? And its GP is literally on that horizon. We'll call it 12 miles. Yeah? It should be below, shouldn't it? Yeah? It has to be curving away. It has to be lower. You're not going to get that there. From any measurement, there's no expression of downward curving away. You've only got an up. Even if you bring things down by a foot. But within that image, there is no way in which the sextant could operate based on curvature of the surface bending away.
Nope. And you know my stance on the 1 degree every 69 miles or every 60 nautical miles. That's a train wreck. They're screwing the pooch themselves. They don't even realize it.
Well, I think,
isn't it? Right.
I was just going to add to what you're saying about the sextant, Adam. What the sextant did is it made the word radius our argument, not theirs. As in, we are asking them now, how are they getting a radius with their sextant, on the globe, which they can't do. Because the GP, the zenith distance from the observer to the GP is a radius measurement. So that we've owned that argument. We've took their argument, which was their radius, which was like we took their radius away first. Then we put a radius back towards them in a kind of a funny kind of a way.
Turn out the lights. Party's over. It's been over, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, since 2015. Most of this is just barely palpable background noise. Uh-oh. I'm getting rumpus.
Yeah, are you the fat lady singing?
The fat lady singing is scratch my back with a hacksaw.
How so? Because you have some big hairs there, or what?
No, I said scratch my back with a hacksaw, not trim the hairs on my back.
That's almost the same thing.
It is not. I wind them up so I can make a boat to get off the island.
Where you want to go then, huh?
Yeah, I want to go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a super chat for you.
Wait.
Let me look it up. Yeah, let me look it up and put it somewhere. It's from someone called Al Yunke, and he says, "Hi, QE Adam. Don't know if you addressed it tonight, but will you make a rebuttal show on Bob Science Guy's latest video called End of Flat Earth?"
Why would I need to do that? Does Tiger Woods entertain anything from the peanut gallery, from all the Elmer Fuds out there, or he just goes to the next hole, right?
Well, the funny thing is that someone in the comment section underneath said that thing that he presented was a golden swan.
I wouldn't be surprised. Are you telling me you want me to go and chase down the so-called debunking from BobberRooney?
Well, if it got many people in that comment section being stupid, I mean, making them look stupid is great, isn't it?
Well, first, we need to know if Bob knows what the purpose of the sextant is, number one. Number two, we need to know where the whore is, right? I got it up there on screen.
You want to monetize this video as well?
Yeah, but I'm not going to use it that much. So I just said it that one time. So.
Oh, okay. So I'm not provoking you to say it again, huh?
Yeah. You are provoking me to say it again, so I'll get demonetized. So we need to find out where Bob's whore is. It's right there. Where we've asked him, where's his whore? And he's not giving it up. I already debunked this crayon muncher. He's delusional. BobberRooney. My God, people.
Much good a name, right? That whole song of the Beach Boys now bad.
BobberRooney.
BobberRooney.
BobberRooney. You are so loony. BobberRooney. You got me laughing and a rolling, smirking and a scoffing. BobberRooney. BobberRooney.
I detected different backing female vocals there.
You did? Did you detect that, huh?
Funny.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't watch it. I'm not good. Like I said, Tiger Woods is just going to move on to the next hole.
I would like to see you see it.
I don't. I don't pay for Dunning-Kruger real estate that I pounded and pummeled away years ago.
No, you did it last week.
Yeah, I did it last week too. Yeah, that's true.
That's not years ago.
Well, I did it years ago with this numpty. Just go to the toe tags or the. Just go to the toe tags or to the numpty clips. What are you yakking about?
He wasn't around that long for years and years. Come on.
Bob was around back in the day. He popped on Nathan's show that one time where he didn't know what a hypothesis was.
Back in the day, it's kind of subjective, not objective. I mean, back in the day, it could be 2 years, but not longer than that.
I think it might have been 3.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
But Bob's around since 2016.
What?
No,
Yeah,
2016, this guy wasn't here.
Yeah, he wasn't out public, but he was on chat. He was on chat.
Yeah,
in comment section on YouTube, because I used to be having a deal pro with him. Maybe it was mid to late, but it was 2016.
I never.
That don't count.
I never saw him.
Exactly.
Not until he popped on. It was right before he popped on Nathan's show where he embarrassed himself there. Just go back to the numpty clips and to the toe tags. You'll find him in there smiling and waving.
Yeah, the numpty clips for this last year, right?
The numpty clips are over. Yeah, those are recent.
Pretty recent.
Yeah, relatively recent. But there's one old one in there. Like I said, he popped on Nathan's show and he didn't know what a hypothesis was. Listen. It's over. It's been over.
Same with conspiracy cats. You didn't know that too.
Yep. So there's the answer to that question.
Too bad.
The image on screen.
Material, right?
Go ahead, Adam.
No, it's the first time I've done her in ages. That's Rumpus. Sorry, Betty.
No, what is that here for it since, well, 2015.
We had a comment in chat. I think it was from Brian Mavitt saying the Rumpus has contacted him saying he's muted. I did respond saying he probably is because he's a liar. So
He's a liar.
Yeah, cut out Rumpus, you liar. Probably why you are banned. Looking at the image on screen, and we've discussed the Black Swan, it's hard to reconcile what they're talking about. That image shows the paradox they have for me.
He's a moron. We all know this. I mean, it isn't shocking. Mr. Quanumbrum, Mr. Cygnus Octaris, Mr. Avocation Fallacy. You're a walking cluster screw. You're barely literate.
What is an avocation? What is that for fallacy?
He heard us talking about equivocation fallacies, but he couldn't pronounce it correctly. He called it remember? He called it avocation fallacy.
Gee, I thought that wasn't the word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, avocation is a word, but it has no friggin' bearing on anything. It has to do with the hobby.
Oh. What kind of hobby? Really oblivious on this word, to be honest.
Yeah. Remember when he said Cygnus Octaris? Yeah, I just had that the screenshot of him up. Cygnus Octaris. And Quanumbrum. He couldn't say conundrum. It was like 3 times. Just go to the debates on the playlist, hit debates, and you'll see Mr. Dunning-Kruger's smiling face on there. Quanumbrum. And then I asked him, what was one of the other things I asked him? It was close.
Impediment. You can sort of dismiss him in that count.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked him what the second law of thermodynamics was, just to give me the equation in a brief description, and finally he said, vacuum chamber.
Did he? No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Oh my God.
Yes, he did. The other guy, the first one, which was real funny, that everyone laughs at, is refrigerator. So if you guys hear refrigerator out there, it happened one time on 24/7. There was a boatload of people in there. And one guy came in and he was talking smack. And I asked him the same question. I said, just give me, if you know what the second law of thermodynamics is, no problem. Just give me it in equation form in a brief description. If you know what the second law of thermodynamics is, there's no tricksies here, right? Then you could just blurt it out. Well, I asked him that. The room went silent, and then all we heard was refrigerator. So people was saying refrigerator for the longest time until Bob said vacuum chamber. So
the refrigerator was in the vacuum chamber?
Yeah, whatever. Just roll with what we get, man. It's a clown show out here. We're underneath the carnival tent.
Oh, by the way, wait a minute, Adam. I want to shout out this super chat again because that El Janke says, "Glad my super chat made you sing." And I wonder if it's you or me singing.
That was pretty good, though. You got to admit, I come right off the cuff. That was right off the cuff, man.
He has a sort of a scream-like emoji after his post. So, I don't know.
I think he liked it. I can sing those Beach Boys songs. I seen the Beach Boys live in concert.
I hate you, Louie. I hate you.
You boomer, you?
Yeah, that's right. That boomer me, yep. You hear that, Sonny? He always seen a bunch of darn concerts. Sonny's a guy over in 24/7. He's old timer. He's seen all kind of great concerts. Yep. Seen the Beach Boys live. Either 79 or 80. Great concert, right? Because the Beach Boys songs, I find myself saying every once in a while I'll be doing something and I'll be humming a Beach Boys song, right? Because they're what did you say the other day, Betty? They're happy songs, right?
Yeah, happy songs and lighthearted, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Which song? You don't know which song that was? That was Barbara Ann.
BobberRooney.
Right. So I just substituted BobberRooney. Yeah, I did that.
Wait a second. You stole that from Welcome Back, Carter. Because that was Vinnie Barbarino.
Oh, yeah, I stole Vinnie Barbarino the other day, too. It was just a multitude of accents and shows. But I had to stick with BobberRooney and Barbara Ann because it's so hip.
Do you know the Beach Boys?
I saw the boys live, too.
You did?
Yeah, I saw them live, too. It was a great show. I think I was like a sophomore or freshman in high school.
Right. He's Scat's he's an old timer.
All right, boomers. Right. Question.
Go ahead.
Did I hear that Bob said avocation fallacy?
Yes, avocation. AVO.
Right. Lovely.
Yeah.
I'd like to make one then. So, if he said that, my thinking was that right? So, it is right. So, is this a Freudian slip of an anti-flat earther? Because an avocation is described as an activity that someone engages in as a hobby outside of their main occupation. So, the equivalent I think Google gives is, if you're the journalist Clark Kent, your avocation is changing into a skin-tight red and blue jumpsuit and fighting flat earthers. But I'd probably like to accuse him maybe of an avocation fallacy in his real life. So, like I say, it's a Freudian slip. That word would slip out as equivocation. To even have it in your head.
Who knows what's swinging around the funhouse mirrors in there. I'd like to get away from him. He's Humpty dipshit, man. It's friggin' scary.
John, it's that kind of stuff that I'm finding amusing. That what's engaging them here? You know why we're here? Yeah. What is their motivation? Is it?
Are you trying to divine motivations from numpty dipshit spinning ball space monkeys?
In spinning ball space monkeys, sometimes a Freudian slip comes out, like with the word avocation, that explains a lot about their behavior.
I don't know, dude. I don't even try to.
Bob's an advocating. When he comes out of work, he puts on his blue and red jumpsuit, doesn't he? And turns into Bob, the anti-flat earther. That's his avocation.
That's his avocation. That's his hobby, then, huh? Yeah.
Speaking about hobbies, right? I have another super chat, and Janke again. Janke. Globus lost R. Your singing made me lose my ear.
Yeah, I know. I gave him a grrr underneath it too.
Oh, a grrr.
Yeah. So I can't sing, newsflash. But
your dedication, huh?
But it's not for the lack of trying.
Well, could you do us all a favor and stop trying?
Somebody ban him.
I happen to like when QE sings.
You would, Neil. You would.
Yeah, there we go. Here comes the knives. Yeah.
Can I super chat scrap? And anyway,
good.
Too funny.
How are you gonna super chat scrap?
I have to take a bit of blame, John. Was it at the beginning of all these shenanigans where we're not allowed at our houses at times? We started doing a few sing-songs and created a monster. You just keep rocking it now, even a cappella mid broadcast. So
a cappella, that's scary, man.
No, that's what I'm hearing this evening.
Yeah,
hey, the ballers must be your muse, sir.
The Muse. Speaking before I get rumpus by Betty, have you gotten the Muse? Yeah.
The Muse.
I'm really struggling.
As in the nude.
I want some feedback. Exactly, Bri. You know, what should it be? What should it feel like? I don't know.
Okay. So we're still waiting. I guess for another year, we'll be waiting for the intro and outros.
Unless I get a good bottle of whiskey. News may arrive.
Betty, get on that.
I'm not your secretary. And I don't do booze.
Yeah, that's right. You don't do booze. He needs booze for his Muse.
Hey, Adam's a cheap date. All he wants is booze.
Yep.
We got you, Adam.
If it was with you, Neil, I'd probably want something a lot harder than that.
And I think that the happy end is known for him, right? Because he loses at the end.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. It was a really good show.
I wanted to know something from Adam.
Go ahead.
I remember that karaoke thing that you guys did. That you were on a channel with a woman with black hair.
Roxanne. Yeah, Roxanne.
Oh, Roxanne.
Really Roxanne channel, yeah. So it's
okay. What happened? Is she still around? Is she still
Roxanne's engaged in other non-flat Earth stuff. So if you look at what's going off in the world today,
okay.
She's down in London doing a lot of stuff. You'll see
demonstrating
mobs. Yeah, just kind of focused on more common law and civil liberties and taking away her rights, that sort of stuff. So that's where I've not spoken to her for a while, but I keep in touch vaguely. So that's where.
But she's not doing any channeling, doing anything on the channel anymore.
There's the odd bit that pops up. Like I say, it's called Really Roxanne now. But it's very minor. I think there's other channels it links to. I'll get. I don't know from off the top of my head.
But she did that tour, right? Didn't she, with the Flat Earth tour through Europe and stuff?
Well, Rox was in along. I mean, fundamentally with Jason, the family Didsbury. It was him that bought the van, put it up there. But Rox was also key in organising, getting people on board, joining in bits. Yeah. So yeah, she was big part of that. I say, but priorities move on, and I totally understand why her focus is where it's at now. Because I think for a short term thing, it's probably a more pertinent place to focus.
But that wasn't Betty's focus here. I don't think. Betty was asking the question on who started this singing stuff, and you know who it was? It was Anthony.
Anthony?
He came out. He came out with what's his name? Oh man, I remember that song.
Rick Ashley.
Say again.
Rick Ashley.
Yeah, the Rick Ashley song.
Gary Barlow. Yeah. That was at Rox's instigation. So we were doing a really woke show there, and that was talking, not flat Earth stuff, but kind of other bits and bobs in the main. And like I said, the lockdown's begun, so it was done just to have a giggle more than anything. And Riley chirped up, and I did Friday I'm in Love by The Cure.
Yeah. Oh, brother.
A bit of pressure out, John. We're still waiting for old Westlife there, aren't we? Hey, Westlife. Hey.
It's on the way.
We're waiting.
It's in the mixing stage.
We're on the way. That's why I think it is.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Betty screwed up because I don't know if she wanted this topic to come up because Betty was supposed to do her performance also.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a mixture between Dutch folk and gangster rap.
Now she was going to do Patsy Cline.
Yeah, well, I sort of got from people that if I was going to ruin it for them for Patsy herself.
I love Patsy Cline.
Yeah, that it was you, Neil, wasn't it? You said that I couldn't do Patsy Cline because that would be ruining it for you, right?
Patsy Cline is ace.
Yep, she is.
Give a lot to answer for, Neil. That's why we've
Yes, he
not got
does.
Macy and Patsy Cline.
Yeah, but
Wait a second. Did you say? Did you say Roxanne?
Yeah, he did. But I want to go back because I was unaware. I ran into Anthony's video just off the cuff. No one said anything to me. I didn't get any messages anywhere. And I seen him singing it because he put himself in between those two guys. I thought it was actually for first few seconds. I thought it was real.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that vividly. Yes, that he was. I thought that he called up his friends.
Yeah. I thought that, yeah, exactly. I thought it was real, so it kind of fooled me and then at the end I was like, oh my God. So he started this whole thing off. So all the rappers out there, Chocolate, and the other, who was it, Elijah, all those guys, Wits It, Gets It. The father of this was
I think that even
Anthony.
started Chocolate singing, right? And rapping and making the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard Anthony did know it. Like I was told at the time that Anthony was friends with those two lads, and that they did a video call together. That's what I was told at the time.
Ah, okay. Yep. All right, listen, guys. We can talk about this all day. I want to wrap this up. However, we have Scrat. It's Flat is in here, and he always has great questions that go for like 2 hours. So wanted to snuff them a little bit, but he does have good questions. So I like when
I do look forward to question of the week.
Yeah, question of the week, Scrat. Go ahead.
You can't do this to me, man. I'm not good under pressure.
Too funny. He already went. Go. Oh, I'm going to stop you.
I was just going to say, as of right now, I really don't have any because I just agree with everything everything that's been said today.
Let's conclude.
Did he say he disagreed or didn't disagree with everything? He said he disagreed with everything, didn't he?
No, I agree with everything that was said today.
Oh, I thought that they said they disagree.
That's what I thought you said.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I did. Sorry.
That was a Freudian slip. So what is it exactly you disagree with?
Yeah, what's going on?
Planes don't fly backwards. I disagree with that. I mean, I disagree that they fly backwards.
Planes fly backwards. That wasn't on our presentation today, was it?
I know. I grabbed something.
You just grabbed something. Yeah, the planes flying backwards.
I was actually gone for a lot of it. I came in. I was here when you first started, and then I had to go, and then I was gone for a while. I just got back like probably 20 minutes ago.
All right.
And props to you, Scott, because that means you listen to Coriolis and you thought that it has to go to a fundamental that's going to hold that at some point, some direction. Planes fly backwards.
Ah.
So fair play. Yeah.
Yeah. He took a shot at it, but you're way off target.
Well, wait a second. Planes don't fly backwards?
No, they don't.
Okay.
Well, actually, you know, the reason that came up is because it was made me think about something earlier in the show when we were talking about how they just say such stupid things and they think they're intellectual. Well, that makes me think of the time where I was in Jim Pandas, and I actually got them to admit that planes fly backwards, and I just started laughing, and they actually said, "Well, what are you laughing for? Just because you don't understand it?" And I'm laughing because you're a retard. But,
Yeah. That is hilarious, man. Like I said, we're underneath the carnival tent. So, all right, no questions. Let's go and finish it on up, Betty. Let's go down the horn. You got the con. Let's go down the horn. We only got a few people in here, so let's wrap it on up.
Yeah. So Brian's logic. You want to have comments, questions, last remarks?
No, I really enjoyed the show. Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Do you have a channel?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Brian's Logic on YouTube. Go in, have a listen. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't subscribe.
If you don't,
that's how it is. That's how it is.
If you're subscribed and you don't like it, well, unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Put a disclaimer immediately. Right?
Hey, Brian, if you want to spam that in the chat, you can go ahead and do that. That would be cool.
Thanks, Kiwi. I'll do that, Chet. Thank you.
Yeah. Neil.
Yeah, Neil.
Sorry, buddy.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Huey. Listen, a few years ago, I did not know what modus tonins, modus ponens. I didn't know any of that stuff. But now I do, thanks to you. And it's very interesting. So it makes me wish I didn't cut class all the time and I paid a little more attention in school. But I'm getting the education now. That's the only thing that matters.
Well, thanks, Neil. That was nice. Appreciate that.
Yeah. You're never too old to learn, right? That's good. Okay, we got Redman in here. I have unmuted you. Have you listened to the show?
He's probably barbecuing ribs, man. He ain't gonna say anything.
No, he said that he can't talk in the chat.
Yeah, because he's got a mouthful of ribs.
No, Doritos.
Doritos?
Yeah, he posted the picture of Doritos in the stream here.
He doesn't have Doritos. He's munching on ribs, man. I know better than that.
All right. Well, you know him. Okay. Then we go to the next one, Ryan Ederson. I unmute you now. You're late to the party, but maybe you listened in. If you got anything for us? Apparently not.
He's stonewalling you, Betty.
How dare he?
Hey,
okay.
Hey, no, he keeps on coming. He's trying. Ryan, your mic's not working. Drop out and pop back in.
Okay.
Go ahead, give us a radio check. Yeah, we got nothing from you, Ryan. Something's up.
Yeah. I've unmuted him.
Yeah, I know you have. He's come off mute. So, okay, that happens, though. Discord is fickle sometimes, as you know.
Well, let's give it a minute and we go to the next first.
We're going back to Scrat.
Yeah.
Well, what exactly, other than the sextant, what else did you talk about when I was gone? It was, I don't know, 40 minutes ago.
Mainly the Black Swan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got no questions on that. My main thing is I mean, the Black Swan is a killer argument. I mean, it just destroys it. But my main thing is gas pressure without a container, because without space, their entire paradigm it's gone.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
And so I try to stay away from the a little more difficult things.
Sure.
I'm not really smart. I'm just an ignorant truck driver. But I like the easy kill, and that would be gas pressure.
Yeah, I got you, Scrat. But you're smart, and don't even try to play that. You're smart enough. But I understand what you're saying. I go back and forth between the Black Swan. It's just a feel thing, right? If it's somebody brand new, right, that I'll go right to gas pressure. I will. I do it constantly. If it's somebody that's been around the community for a while, then I'll use the Black Swan. It just depends. But those two, I can't put that one in front of the other. Nathan does. I can't do it.
I've got to wait. I was thinking, because this is, again, I was talking about 1 and 2 sextants, right? Gas pressure without. How do you rate them? I think the only way is to start from the ground up. So Black Swan works for me. Sextant next, because it's working with what I see up there and the ground. And then third, if you really want to go up there, you really want to go up into your presuppositional world, then I can go into gas pressure without a container and destroy you when we get to your lack of containment. It's amusement for flat earthers ranking these things, because none of them. It doesn't really matter which order you put them in. Yeah.
Yep.
They unlike our things, with this flexibility in our stuff, but the paradigm they've built is so interlaced, as we show with just those three things. That you were just one thing. Let's throw gravity in another one. You know, you were just one thing. Let's pick R. It destroys everything mathematically. It absolutely ruins everything. 9.8 goes, yeah, when you can't define R, every single bit. So it's hard to say. The benefit, I think, now is in 5 years, we talked about flat Earth years, it is a lifetime, you know. Bob's been in it a lifetime. But pick and choose now, really. And as QE says, it's horses for courses. You know? Sometimes you've got a newbie, some of those more face slapping things like gas pressure without a container is number one to use. It's hard to rebut, especially without any preloaded bullshit. But you are dealing with more entrenched anti-flat earthers, and going into the Black Swan and the Sextant just absolutely destroys the rhetoric they brought with them, the contradictory rhetoric as well. You can take them through it, and it destroys that. So I think it's horses for courses, but I'm still sticking the Black Swan at number one because it underpins everything. Right.
Well, with me, I use gas chamber, gas pressure, because whenever I bring it up, they just go nuts. And they just start spewing just absolute nonsense. I mean, I had one guy in Jim Panis. He actually claimed that the gases in the atmosphere do not expand in all directions. He said they're different. Well, actually, he didn't say that. He just said the gases in the atmosphere don't expand in all directions. And I said, well, they're gases, aren't they? And he said, yes, but they don't do it. I'm like, okay, whatever. And that's why I like using it, because they go crazy.
Well, gas pressure without the containment is. I remember we were talking earlier. Betty mentioned it about going on the flat Earth tour, and other than me getting rumbled in Rome, one of the more positively memorable days was in San Marino, and we lugged all the stuff right to the top to the castle. We set all the banners up, and that was my first day. So I like a mug. I said, I'll pull it. Nearly killed me. We set all the stuff up there, and back then, I think it will be pre-Black Swan because it's 2019. So this argument's not fully right. Gas pressure without containment was my number one, and I remember engaging with the guys, a number of guys that they were tourists, but they were from the Middle East, and they were university physics students. And that's what I took them to. And absolutely, they fall apart because all of the laws that they've learned at university dictate that it doesn't apply to a ball Earth spinning in a vacuum. It can't dictate. There has to be something that they've never, and you watch it dawn on them as that they've got nothing. There is nothing in the literature that they've been taught, whatever level, and these were physics graduate, degree level folks thinking they were smart officers, yeah. And when it gets to that point where their laws that they base on, and they've got all the PV equals NLT running around their head, and then you stick them next to that, it's fantastic, and it's great. I say for newbies, people that are just thinking they're cocksure and they're going to destroy this idiot flat earther. But when you're dealing with a anti-flat earther, and to me, you go back to the Black Swan. And the gas pressure is fun, but if you want to wrap them around their own arse, then that's the reality, because that's the one that sends them into a quandary. We don't have to do anything. All you hear is them flip-flop from one explanation to the other. And all you've got to do is go, well, where did you get that from? Oh, we measured it with a straight line, yeah? And you can just let them flip-flop now, because they have no answer to it. And the point of that is, And the reason we've got that and it's useful is because they're dishonest. They're disingenuous and they're intellectually dishonest. And that's what I come back to, bring it back to Bob from the start of the show. You know, that's why the Black Swan is so powerful, because it's able to take apart the intellectually dishonest for me.
Very quickly, because I know QE wants to get on with this ending. Scratch, to claim what they're claiming, they have to deny temperature. So when they say PV equals nRT doesn't apply to their atmosphere, what they're doing there is they're denying temperature has any effect on the gases we observe, or we don't observe, but we experience in our world. So they're denying that temperature has any effect on any of that, because in their world, it has to be a force, which is an out-of-date, 106 years out-of-date force of gravity that creates this pressure gradient, and it has nothing to do with temperature. So there's no PV equals nRT in their world, it's PV equals nRG. So think of it that way. So if they don't deny temperature, then yeah, exactly. If they don't deny temperature, yeah, that's it, isn't it?
That's really funny, but quite clever, because that's exactly how they define their atmosphere. Clever.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Adam. Look, you're the last one. Within 30 minutes now. You know, give us your channel.
Channel shout-outs. You know my channel, The Adam Meakin and What is the World. And if you like it, please subscribe. Don't subscribe to Brian's channel. Other than that, there was a bit Neil. Sorry, mate. There's a bit Neil said. It was mugged off. Yeah, I wish I'd studied harder at uni. I studied harder in school and at uni. Yeah, but I still was contained in the same Truman Show. Yeah, how hard I studied made no difference. Yeah, to any of this. It helps me a little bit now dealing with bullshit, but reality is the reason I was in the Truman Show wasn't how hard I studied. So there's no indictment there. The indictment is when we look at the people we've highlighted tonight, where when truth is pointed out to them, all we get in rebuttal is cognitive dissonance, yeah, etc. And that's their problem. Yeah, you don't have a problem, Neil. Irrespective of your educational level, I can't do the stuff you do on a practical level. Yeah, we all have skills in this world. One of the skills, and the most important one, everybody should need, and the only one I care about people having, is that when the truth's in front of you, you deal with that truth. And respect, Neil, you've dealt with it, mate. Yeah, all right, in a very angry way, but you've dealt with it. And that's all that anybody can do if they're honest and want to know the truth. What's demonstrated and what we deal with are people that don't want to deal with the truth, want to keep in their faith, even though all the evidence demonstrates that that's not reality anymore. And they're so ingrained in their faith and beliefs that they're prepared to dishonor themselves, if I'm being honest, yeah, in a way that I would never do on air. When you see these people coming on defending this ball and the stuff that comes out of their mouth from people, Neil, that have that same level of state education that I have that you don't, and that's what's so galling. Yeah, like I said, when I talk about the guys on the, you see the arguments collapse because you know them, and to see people that purport to be this, use the word earlier, intellectual, which is a misnomer, yeah, but purport to be this intellectual and use that to talk to others and to persuade them. That's what sickens me the most in all of this. Yeah, that there's people out there that are so, being honest, driven by their own faith that they ignore reality. And I think that's where we're at now, and I think that's what we're exposing to these guys now. But yeah.
Is that? Are you done, Adam?
Yeah, that's a banana and a half, wasn't it?
The whole damn tree.
Damn. Bernard's probably moved a foot, the whole plant in that time, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, though. Thanks, Adam. Betty, you want to close out Adam's show or QE's show? Sorry.
Yeah. That folks, that's all. Yeah.
I think that Adam got spirited. Did.
Yeah, spirited. Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, I got one more question. If I can.
No, we're gonna have to wrap it up. Save it for next. Hey, hold on, Betty. Scrat, save it for next week, man. Just come back next week.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Betty.
I got a couple of super chats. One is from Mark, and no comment, but just a super chat. We got lumpy gas in a vacuum. He said, love learning from QE. And one from Tony Whitcomb, and he says, we have Patsy Cline, and the Globers have Patsy Decline.
The Patsy Decline. Oh, thanks, Tony. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that, Lumpy. And Mark, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's it for me for the. How did you say that? Admin, right? Yeah.
For the admin, yeah. You still have a couple announcements, though.
Do I have a couple of announcements?
Yeah.
Well, you do the honors.
For the announcement? Okay. All right. Listen up. This is what we got. We got the Numpty clips. We got the last of the regular Numpty clips, and it's a doozy tomorrow. Make sure you tune it. It's the gyro compass from Gondor. Make sure you check that out. So
Gondor?
Yeah, the Gondor gyro compass. And after that, it's like I said, it's going to be I'm going to christen it the month of the signature Numpty clips, the flying wasp, right? It's going to be signature Numpty clips Monday and Wednesday of each week in the month of October. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a flamethrower. I'm telling you, we're going to go out with a finale, go out with a bang. Oh, Nathan is ace. He told me to tell you that.
Good.
And somebody's supposed to be presenting on my channel.
Who?
Betty.
You want me to announce myself?
I do.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, well, I told last time, I think, last week, that I was going to do a presentation on the Bible. It's very low-key. Don't expect much. I'm a first-timer on presenting something, but I want to just have somebody Bible studies on there. Not that I'm a teacher, but I want to go over some stuff that I think that most people miss a little bit of the red line that goes through the Bible, and pick up on some interesting stuff that I came across, and I hope that people will enjoy it. So if you're a Bible lover or someone that wants to see where I'm at with the things that I have found out, then join us.
When?
On Tuesday, next Tuesday.
What?
At 2 p.m.
What? No, not next Tuesday. Hold on. No.
Not next?
Not next Tuesday?
Yeah, the next one in 9.
No.
It's not that where you said it?
Not next Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. What day is it?
Thursday. I get those confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursdays. Yes.
So this Thursday at 2 p.m. U.S. Central, Betty is going to be presenting. So.
See, I don't even know the time of the day.
That's 2 p.m. U.S. Central, 8 p.m. UK.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to this. You got me excited last week. I've done so much prophecy reading or YouTubing, I should say, listening to listening to scholars. I'm looking forward to this, Betty, because it's I don't know if people aren't noticing, but it is a topic, in amongst us communities, the Bible, and
yeah, the thing is, I want people to know their identities too. within Christianity. And I think that most people don't even know a lot what it's in the Bible, what it's pointing to. And we need to wake up. And we need to wake up fast. And I hope there's it will trigger some people maybe, and maybe other people will not be triggered by it. But I hope not to offend people. But I want just to give out information that provokes people to think. That's it. But it will be low key because I need to sort of set a sort of baseline, and then add on to that sort of.
There's a bit you alluded to in terms of the coloration of the text. There's a little phrase to me, right? You'll never be dead if you stick to the red. I think a great guide in life.
I try to avoid red on my bank account, but
I mean, in the Bible.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, just wait and see if you like it afterwards. I mean, it will. The first presentation is just. It will be a lot of text that we're going to go through, right, on the Old Testament stuff. I like the Old Testament too. I like the types and this foreshadowing in. It's so much. It's very interesting.
Week Thursday, yeah.
This one.
This Thursday. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. So
I genuinely, I'm looking forward to it because, like I say, I think it's Alwyn's doing a little bit. He's from a different viewpoint. But I think all the viewpoints are relevant, and it's only to all of our benefit if we can share our viewpoint on these things and listen to other people's understanding as the way the Spirit's communicated to them. Whether we agree or disagree, maybe we can take a bit of learning from it. And I look forward to it, mate. I really do.
Okay, great.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Okay, then I got 2 viewers already. Yay!
And if we've got you, me, and was it Scrat? That's 3. So you know who else will be there.
I'm reading something in the chat and it says Betty messed up the super chat. What did I do? Did I not do it correctly? Yeah. Should I do it again, John?
For the super chat, I think you did Mark, and he didn't have any message. Thanks, Mark. Then Tony, who told you screwed it up? Betty messed up the super.
Tony Whitcomb said.
Okay,
read it.
I can read it. We have Patsy Cline, and the Globers have Pat's Decline.
Pat's Decline.
Pat. Here's Pat. Yeah. Is that good? Are we good, Tony?
Hopefully.
We'll wait on Tony. We'll hold up the show until he gives us a go.
Maybe he's already gone.
And this is going to be on QE channel whilst we wait for Tony. Like, just double check.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't have a channel. I don't even have the computer to have an own channel. So that will be a thing.
Okay. Is that all, Betty?
I think it will be enough. Yes.
Yeah, that's enough. Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Got to wrap things up. So, take no prisoners. No quarter will be asked. None shall be given. And remember, BobberRooney.
BobberRooney.
BobberRooney. You are so loony. BobberRooney. You got me laughing and a rolling, smirking and a scoffing. BobberRooney. BobberRooney.
You are so dumb. Damn.